Divorce lawyers. What's the best kept secret couples have kept from one another? I used to bartend at a mid-sized neighborhood bar in a quiet part of town. Over the years, I saw a lot of couples come and go, some happy, some miserable, and some that were just strange. None of them stuck in my memory quite like Joe and Susan. They were regulars for years, showing up every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday together. From the moment they walked in, they were touchy, flirtatious, and openly affectionate. They laughed a lot, shared beers, and often kissed across the bar while everyone else looked on. It was the kind of PDA that made other patrons roll their eyes, but I never minded. It wasn't my business. What made them truly peculiar was the rest of the week. Monday and Tuesday, Susan came in alone, always with a different man. They would sit at the bar, drink, talk, laugh, and she would be as affectionate with them as she was with Joe on the weekend. Wednesday and Thursday, Joe came in with a rotating cast of women, doing the exact same thing. Touchy, affectionate, playful, laughing with his companions like he was single. After a few months, I had to assume they were in some sort of open relationship. That seemed to fit. They weren't hiding anything. They were just doing their own thing on different nights, enjoying the bar, enjoying each other's company when it was their weekend together. I never thought much of it beyond that. Over the next 7 years, I watched their strange routine play out like clockwork, never questioning it, just serving drinks and keeping up with their rotating schedules. Then, one Monday night, Susan came in alone. She had her hair done differently, a new dress, and a serious look that I didn't recognize. She sat at her usual spot, ordered a gin and tonic, and after a few minutes, she leaned across the bar and said, "I'm divorcing Joe. He's a piece of shit." I nodded, shocked, or at least acting shocked, because she had always seemed so happy on the weekends with him. She went on to explain how she had just found out he was cheating on her. She talked about private detectives, hidden phone calls, and evenings he had supposedly spent with other women without her knowing. She was furious, emotional, and felt betrayed. I listened, poured her a refill, and offered a few words of sympathy. She leaned closer, lowered her voice, and said, "I've never cheated on him, or anyone else, ever. I'm a virtuous person." I nodded again, trying not to laugh at the absurdity, because in my mind, I had watched her spend countless Mondays and Tuesdays with different men over the years. I said nothing. Bartenders don't get involved. A few weeks later, I saw Joe at another bar. He was wearing a different jacket, had a different haircut, but his energy was unmistakable. He sat down, and we made small talk for a few minutes before he got to the point. He told me Susan was divorcing him, but he was going to win. He had hired a private detective to follow her, and according to Joe, she had been cheating behind his back. I nodded, poured him a beer, and kept the expression neutral. He went on to assure me that he had never cheated on Susan or anyone else. He spoke with conviction, indignation, and outrage at the unfairness of it all. I didn't correct him. I didn't say anything about Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. I just listened, poured another beer, and nodded. It was surreal, watching two people accuse each other of exactly the thing they were both doing on a near-weekly basis. I had been a silent witness to their secret routines for years, and now they were both presenting themselves as virtuous victims of betrayal. The cognitive dissonance was astonishing, and I realized just how carefully people curate their own narratives, even when the truth is staring them in the face. After a while, I stopped working at that bar. It wasn't because of them directly, but the constant absurdity of watching people act like they were shocked by their own lives started to wear on me. I grew a beard, changed up my look, and started going out to different places so no one would recognize me. Even now, years later, I think about Joe and Susan. I have no idea how their divorce ended. I don't know if they ever stopped accusing each other of infidelity, or if they managed to spin their separate stories into some kind of legal victory. What I do know is that for 7 years, I watched a married couple live completely different lives, full of secrets and illusions, and then act surprised when the consequences finally caught up with them. It was the weirdest, most surreal thing I ever witnessed behind a bar, and I'll never forget it. I said nothing.